Okay, so we're going to be going over basically how to set this up and a bunch of features that are included in the menu. Um, so as far as setup, when you're transferring this to your game, you obviously need to make sure that you're copying everything and pasting it in the right spot, because if you don't do that, it's going to cause the system to break. So replicated storage, you just got to copy it, make sure it's in replicated storage in your game. Same thing for everything, and you can't miss anything. So we replicated, server script, server storage, starter GUI, starter player scripts. Teams you don't have to copy over because you probably already have your own teams. There's no attributes or anything tied to the teams themselves, so you don't have to do anything about that. There's additional information in here that you can read. But this video is pretty much going to go over everything. And then if you also have any additional questions, suggestions, or bugs you find, you can handle that all through the Discord, which is, I guess I didn't add a link in here. I'll do that later. But yeah, so, um, let's see. So, if you want to change name tag, or the overhead, I mean, you can do that here. If you want to change the text, or the font, I mean, or the color, or whatever you want to change, the strokes, whatever you need to do, you can change it here. Because this is what gets copied in every player's head. UI itself, simple to edit. If you want to change it, you change the templates. So you need to select to be able to see what you're editing. Same thing for pretty much all these. You need to select the outer frame, then hold Control and select whichever one you want to edit, the template. And then you change the visibility to true, and then you can edit whatever you want from here. When you're done editing, you need to make sure you make it visible, or yeah, you need to make it unvisible. So I'm not really good at explaining stuff, but yeah. And then game class template, if you want to change that too, if you want to change the purchase button, whatever you want to change if you're editing your own UI. Just make sure you make sure visible is disabled when you're go out of it. Same thing for is pretty much everything. They all have holders, whatever, and templates. You would just select the outer frame template, and then you would go and edit it from yeah. You just go and edit it if you want, or you can keep the base UI. It's whatever you want to do. So let's go to shop. So this basically tells you what you want to basically gives you some more information. So it's set right now for, this is what I came up with for the Robux, R dollar, whatever you want to change it to. So Game Pass is simple. All you have to do is paste your IDs in and it'll automatically grab the icon and everything too. Dev products, you have to put your own icon in, or you can keep the default ones that I have. It's just a little credit icon. You can change it to whatever you want. So you paste your ID in for all of these, however many you want, and then you also have to come up to, where did I put it? I think it's server scripts. Yeah. Dev product receipt and server script, and then you change you make sure the IDs match. So for this first one, you make sure this ID matches with whatever value you want, and then you can change your data stores here because you probably, if you already have a currency system, then you already have a data store holding your values. So unless you want to reset it or whatever, but you can just change it here. And then this is where you put your values, because this is the script's going to award, when they purchase the dev product, they're going to award this amount to it. So just make sure you have your values right. Make sure IDs match values right. If you only want to do 3 of them, just delete 3. And it's pretty simple. Game passes, you want to add more, just copy your IDs and whatever. See, so if you want to move your menu camera, the only thing you have to worry about moving is, you don't have to worry about these two. You just have to worry about moving the menu camera to wherever you want to position it to inside of your game. If you don't want to worry about the menu camera, the way I used to do it is you would just take you would just do a image label, scale that up to the size, um, and then you can just leave it in there, and then that would act as your background image. I got rid of that because people voted that they would rather just have a camera you can position. It was easier for them. So, but you can add it back in if you wanted. Um, and then editing credits is simple too. You would just put the username in. Say if you're the owner, you would put your username, whatever description you decided you wanted about yourself, and then your user ID. And if you want to add more, simple. You just copy the line, add, whatever the username is, whatever the description you want, and then make sure you get their user ID because it's going to grab their little thumbnail and automatically populate them in the credits tab. So settings, I went ahead for this new update. I added just 2 base settings in because the way I used to do it is settings are pretty dependent on your game. Not everyone's going to have the same settings, so I didn't add any. But I added 2 just base settings, which are just graphics and then hiding name tags. So, and then we already went over the store. Settings is, again, if you want more settings, that's something that you have to code later on yourself or hire someone to do. Moving on to the attributes for and the animation. So there is a animation that plays on the rig when you select morph. Select morph, this animation that plays. Right now it's just set to the default Roblox idle. So if you want that, you don't have to change the ID because it's universal, so it's not going to say the whatever the error message it gives. So you can just keep that if you want the default Roblox idle, or if you have your own animation, you just upload it, grab your ID, and then paste it right here. And then this is the animation that's going to play on the preview rig. Then for attributes, the morphs are held in server storage to give some better security. So for teams, there's group ID, which is your group ID, your actual group ID. And that basically locks it. So if you do no group ID, then anyone has access to that team. So if you want the team to be locked, add a group ID. Logo ID, again, just the decal, whatever it is, paste it. And you have to have the asset ID thing here. So you would just, whatever your decal ID is, and then just replace the number. You can do that pretty quick just by double clicking on it, and it will select just the number. UI order is the way they populate. So 1 being the first, and then 3 being the last one, or however many teams you have. And that's the same thing for divisions. UI order, so it's basically it goes, and it's the same thing for morphs too. Anyway, or no, morphs is actually different. I forgot about that. Morphs are based on ranks. So the lowest number. So what you have to set up your rank. Okay, I'm not explaining this right. Okay. Um, um, you do the ranks that are in your group. So if you've done a morph menu before, then you know what I'm talking about. But you just go to your group, configure, go to the roles section or ranks, whatever it's called, and you get your ID and you paste it here. And then the morphs populate based on lowest to highest. So this cadet morph, since it's rank 1, will always be the first morph that pops up in the menu. And then additional things are like, so first off, there's the hide body parts. If you want all of the, like, everything already, your morph should always already have whatever it is. So 99% of the time, you're going to want to have hide body part on. But if you're doing something like an officer morph where you want the head to stick out, you would turn hide body part off for just the head, or if you want to do the hands too, whatever you want. And then additional things like keep head accessories if you want to keep like hair or whatever it may be, if you want that to stay on the morph, and skin color, which is the skin color of the user's Roblox avatar, if you want to carry that over, or if you already have a set skin tone for the morph, then you can just disable it or delete it entirely. And same thing for head accessories, whatever you want to do with that. And then there's also a new thing I added in this. So if you add a boolean and name it no morphs and enable it, it's just going to bypass the division screen, morph screen, and this works for divisions too. So it works for either teams or you can do it for divisions. It's just going to bypass all the other stuff. So I put it enabled for the unaffiliated team. So basically it's just going to bypass and instantly spawn you in as your own character. So it works for divisions or teams. And then for divisions, stuff like this, again, group ID, which is generally different than from your team. I don't know how any of you will have it set up, but again, simple. Take your group ID for the group, paste it here. Logo ID, again, if you have different logos for each of your divisions, make sure you paste it. Again, UI order, you don't have to use it if you don't want. If you don't want, like if you have 20 divisions or whatever and you don't want to decide which way you want them, you don't have to do it. You could just delete it. It's up to you if you want a little bit more organization. Then overhead color, this is the color of the overhead rank. So it will say like the player's username, and then under that it will say whatever division team they're on. So this color changes the color of the text of the division label. So whatever you just decide, whichever one you think looks best for whatever team it may be, you just change that. Change it to whatever you think is good. Then extra stuff like VIP. If you have this on and enabled, it'll put a little VIP check on the morph. I believe I made it gold or like a darker yellow, whatever. These extra things, name text, division text, rank text, this will just replace. So if it's name text, it will replace the username with whatever you write here. So if you have a morph like Vader and you want it to say Lord Vader or Darth Vader instead of the player's username, then you would just do it however you want. You can add this to any of the morphs, whatever you want. Same thing for division text. If you want it to say, like I thought it would be better to say Imperial Throne than the throne under his name, so I changed it there. And rank text too. So his rank in the group would have been, Darth Vader, so it would have ended up saying, Lord Vader twice. So that's why I just left it blank. If you leave it blank, there's no value, so it'll just end up being blank. So I'll show you what those look like. What was it? The throne and then the Vader morph. So here, and then so there's the VIP. It changes my username over to just Lord Vader, and then there's the rank text, and then under here, oh, I don't think I set the value. I don't know. Anyway, and then pretty simple. You just change it to whatever you want. If you want VIP, you can have VIP. Disable it for whatever morphs you want. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Oh yeah, so you can do divisional spawning if you want to. So say we wanted Stormtrooper Corps to spawn in a different room than everybody else. We would create a team, and the team name has to match exactly as the folder of the division. It has to be the same. And then you just choose whatever team color you want, have a spawn location, and make sure neutral, team change on touch. Neutral has to be off, team change on touch if you want that, probably not. And then just make sure team color of the spawn point matches the team color of the team. So yeah, so Stormtrooper Corps is set up now. If they have a Stormtrooper Corps morph, they're going to spawn here. So you can only do this you could do it for all of them if you want, or you could only do it for some. So say Stormtrooper Corps right now is set up for its own individual spawn point, so they'd spawn here. But any of the other divisions would just spawn. If there's no other team, then it will spawn them on the full team of itself. So it will just, yeah. So if there's no Imperial intelligence spawn, then it's just going to spawn them at the Galactic Empire spawn point, right? So let me see. I think that's about everything. I think we've gone over pretty much everything there is for now in this update. Um, yeah, there's some additional things here. So if you want to change where the rig is positioned in front of the camera, there's some offsets here, how far it is from the camera. And then right now I have it selected like a dark yellow when you click on a morph to show that that's the one that's selected. You can change it to whatever you want. I chose yellow because it's sort of like the Battlefront 2 style I was going for. Um, yeah, so then here, if you want to change the hover sound, so when you hover over a frame, it plays this sound. Change it if you want. And then the click sound, when you click on a frame, it's going to play this sound. So you can change it to whatever you want. Use the same sounds I use. It's up to you. Um, I believe that's pretty much everything for now. I can't think if I'm forgetting anything, but I'll add on to it later if I am. So again, if you have any questions, suggestions, what I can add next, or any bugs you might run into, you can just go ahead and do it in my Discord, and if it's a bug, I'll fix it as fast as I can. If it's a suggestion, if enough people want it, then I'll go ahead and add it, or I might just add it anyway, just for as much customization as I possibly can get. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. So yeah, I hope you guys have fun with it. So.